There are few stories that change the way you see work, family, and people forever. And this made-for-TV film, Door to Door, is one of them. It's a wholesome movie perfect for parents looking for safe entertainment for mature 9-year-olds and up. This TNT docudrama tells the incredible story of Bill Porter, a door-to-door salesman who refused to accept society's limitations. It's a movie that will teach your children about compassion, determination, and emphasize the golden rule to treat others the way you want to be treated. And you can stream it for free on YouTube. William H. Macy stars as Bill Porter in what might be his most touching performance. His devoted mother is played by Helen Mirren, and Kara Cedric plays Shelley, who becomes Bill's assistant and closest friend later in life. Most importantly, I'll show you why this uplifting 2002 film deserves a spot on your must-watch list tonight. Welcome to Wholesome TV Picks, the show that helps busy parents find clean, positive, and genuinely uplifting movies and TV shows you can feel good about watching with your family. Now let's get into why this rich story is so worth your time. This isn't a story you want in your queue. It's a story your family needs to see. It won multiple awards, and it stars William H. Macy as Bill Porter. And the primary reason it's worth watching, it's not just because it's good, but because it's good for you. And I'd love to know, do you think stories like this still connect with people today the way they did 20 years ago? Or do we see work and perseverance differently now? A popular question that's asked is Door to Door based on a true story? And it absolutely is. And it's one of the most inspiring true stories I think you'll ever encounter. It was co-written by William H. Macy and Stephen Schachter, who also directed this movie. So what is the movie about, and why should you care? This movie is about a man named Bill Porter, a door-to-door salesman who refused to let his disability define his limits. If you're wondering, what disability did Bill Porter have? Well, he had cerebral palsy, which affected his speech and mobility. But here's what makes the story extraordinary. He didn't beg for special treatment. He didn't want handouts. He wanted to work. And he did it better than most people with no physical limitations ever could. This movie will also make you think differently about the way we view work today. I think our culture often celebrates shortcuts and complains about effort. But Bill reminds us that work, real work, isn't something to be avoided. It's something to be proud of. You may be wondering, who taught Bill to have such a great work ethic? It was his mother. At the heart of this film is one of the most deeply loving mother-son relationships ever put on screen. Bill Porter's mother was his rock. In an era when doctors recommended institutionalizing children with disabilities, she said, "Bill is my baby, my child. I will raise him." She taught him 2 words that became his mantra: patience and persistence. This is all based on Shelley Brady's New York Times bestseller book, 10 Things I Learned from Bill Porter. It's an awesome read. I highly recommend it, and I'll leave a link in the show notes where you can buy a copy. Before we move on, I want to officially introduce a new segment you've heard a few times already, and I'm really excited about this. Wholesome Kids Picks. If you've been listening for a while, you've already heard 2 of my kids, and my oldest will make his debut in next week's episode. Here's how it works. When your family watches one of our picks and your kids want to share their thoughts, head over to wholesometvpicks.com/speak and send me a voicemail. Include their name, age, and where they're from, or use a pseudonym, or remain anonymous if you prefer. When I get enough submissions, I'll feature 1 or 2 in future episodes. Starting in 1955, when Bill was deemed unemployable, he asked the Watkins Company for the worst sales route to prove himself. And boy, did he prove himself. The movie brilliantly chapters his life through the decades, from 1955, I Think Something's Wrong with Me, to October 1997, An Invisible Thread, connecting his entire community. He knew who was born, who died, who moved away. He just knew all the neighborhood happenings. He connected his entire community. And he didn't just sell products. He built relationships. And I think this is something sorely missing in today's society. It makes me wonder, how might teens today react to someone like Bill? Would they be inspired by his persistence? Or maybe surprised at how much effort he poured in without taking shortcuts? What do you think? If you love stories like this about everyday people changing their community, You might also enjoy my episode on the new Lassie. That one's all about loyalty, community, and stepping up when others need you. Values you see in Door to Door as well, and I'll link it in the show notes. Now, this is genuinely wholesome TV at its finest, but I want to give one heads up for parents. There's a recurring storyline involving a gay couple, two men who are among Bill's regular customers in the movie. At one point, there's a brief peck on the lips, and the relationship is shown subtly throughout the movie. If you'd like to skip that part, send me a voicemail at wholesometvpics.com/speak, and I'll gladly email the exact time code to you. There's also another moment where Bill sees a woman inside a married man's house, an implied affair, but there's nothing graphic shown. Earlier, I mentioned this film emphasizes the golden rule, and I think a great example of that is early on in the film, where there's a scene where Bill and his mom go out to a diner to celebrate his first sale, and they're sitting next to a group of teenagers in the diner. One of the teenagers starts mocking Bill, calls him a retard, and assumes Bill can't hear him. Well, he assumed incorrectly because Bill's mom calmly turns around, asks to borrow their ketchup, but when she goes to reach it, she accidentally spills a glass of water on the guy that called Bill a retard. And then she says, "Oops, I guess I must be a retard." It's a small scene in the movie that I think shows people that mockery doesn't make you powerful. It really makes you small and look ridiculous. Way to go, Mom. That's a mama bear for you. If you were in that diner, what would you have done? Would you have spoken up, ignored it, or handled it in your own way like Bill's mom did? I don't know what I would have done, but I think I would have been a little more outspoken. Discretion sometimes isn't exactly my forte, if you get my drift. And if you want another example of a show that teaches kids about acceptance and the golden rule, go check out episode 18 on the Power Rangers. It's a top listener favorite. And like Door to Door, it shows the importance of how to treat others. So let's talk about the impact this movie has had on people. This movie has an impressive 7.9 out of 10 rating on IMDb, and the reviews tell you everything you need to know. One viewer wrote, "If this doesn't make you see how much you take for granted, then nothing will." Another said it perfectly by stating, "Not only was the flick a tearjerker, but a real valuable lesson on why people need to be given respect, no matter how hard they may have it in life." And another touching review gave it a 10 out of 10 and called it moving and inspiring. "I happened upon this little movie on TNT, sat down, and didn't move until it was over. The story of salesman Bill Porter is one of the most touching things I've ever encountered in a long time, and it will show how one simple person can unwittingly affect the lives of many people." Oh, and just an FYI, the real Bill Porter passed away in 2013. But with this movie, his story lives on and will continue to inspire those who watch it. Now, while I always prefer supporting creators by buying the physical DVD, I know the digital age has changed how we consume content. So you can find this movie available for purchase, which I highly recommend you do. But it's also available on YouTube, and I'll leave a link in the show notes where you can click and watch. But I'd still encourage you to buy it and support the filmmakers. Definitely pick up Shelley Brady's book, 10 Things I Learned from Bill Porter. It dives deeper into the story and includes details the movie couldn't fit into its runtime. So Door to Door isn't just a movie recommendation. It's a masterclass in human resilience. This story about one man's life proves that with the right mindset, the right support system, and unwavering determination, we can overcome obstacles that seem impossible. Bill Porter's mom taught him that he was worthy of respect and capable of success. The Watkins Company gave him a chance, and his community learned to see past his disability to the incredible man underneath. And Shelley Brady ensured his story would inspire millions. This feel-good movie will leave an indelible mark on your heart. And here's my challenge to you. Watch Door to Door with your family, then tell me what stuck with you the most. Was it Bill's persistence, his mom's fierce love, or something else entirely? Send me your thoughts at wholesometvpics.com/speak or leave a comment wherever you listen to the show. I can't wait to hear from you. Next week, we're heading into one of the most unexpectedly heartfelt animated adventures of the 90s. One that might just hit you harder as a parent than it ever did as a kid. Bring the popcorn and maybe some tissues. Thanks for listening to Wholesome TV Picks. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll catch you in the next episode.